Welcome back. Today we're going to be doing another new drawing. Today's drawing on paper pencil for sketching is going to be a multi-view drawing. This is going to be our first multi-view drawing that we're going to be tackling for this class. And today's multi-view drawing is also going to be called a orthographic drawing. We're going to be looking at an object in three-dimensional as if we're holding it in our hand, and we're going to be pulling out the front, top, and right side views and centering those views within one of the title blocks you have already drawn or will be drawing for this assignment. Today's drawing is the support. Let's dig in. So on the handout here, you can see that we have the support drawing. We have an isometric drawing up here which is showing the support as a three-dimensional object. And then we're pulling out that object as if we're looking at it in one view only and drawing those three main views in our drawing space. Now for today's drawing, we're not going to be drawing this view yet, so we're just going to be centering these three views within our title block. And we're going to be looking at that formula again, which we had done for the puzzle, and we're going to be modifying that formula for this particular support drawing. As we get started, I do want to briefly label the views so when we talk about them, you can have the same terminology as I will be using. So we have the front view, the top view, and the right side view. So you're going to need a blank sheet of paper today, or you're going to need a title block that's all ready to go with support in it. So if you've already drawn your title block and border, great. If not, you're going to be using the blank sheet of paper to complete that task, as if we did in the previous videos. Seeing as I already have a title block ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and pull that drawing out. And some of the things that we have in here, this is our second drawing, so this is going to be SK-02, and the title is Support. As if, just looking backwards, we have the puzzle drawing we've already done, and we had that centered within the drawing space where this gap, vertical gap, was the same at the top and the bottom, and the horizontal gap is the same on left and right. And that's what we're going to be looking at doing next for our support drawing. So we're going to be going back to this formula, which we had pulled out in the previous video, which is looking at the horizontal gap is equal to the horizontal drawing space minus the horizontal drawing divided by 2. The only thing that's going to change on this formula for what we're doing is the horizontal drawing, and it's not just going to be one number anymore because we have multiple views going into this drawing. Same thing with vertical gap. The vertical drawing is going to change. So if we turn over our drawing, the handout, and we mock up a basic title block and border again, and we're going to be drawing three views, and they're going to be centered in here. So here's going to represent the top view, the front view, and the right side view. Doesn't really matter what size boxes they are right now, but that total space here is going to represent HD and VD. So we have to figure out what those distances are before we even dig into this. So if this is the front view, then we need to go back to our drawing and look at how long is the front view and how long is the side view from our dimensions. So when we flip this over and look at that, here's our front view. So the distance from here to here, we can't use a ruler because this drawing is not full scale, so we're not going to be able to do that. But we do have that dimension up here of 3 inches. So this view is 3 inches long. And if we come over here and look at this object, the depth of this is going to be the same as the depth of the top view, which is 1.5 inches. So that distance is the same as this distance right here of 1.5. So 3 and 1.5. We're going to come to our sketch of our drawing. We're going to put 3 inches here, 1.5 inches there. And for our drawing purposes, the gap between the views right here is going to be 1 inch. Which means if we add those up, 3 plus 1 plus 1.5 is going to be our HD of 5.5. So let's go ahead and try to figure out VD. If we flip back over now, the height of the front view is 1.5. The depth of the top view is 1.5. And our gap, again, is going to be 1 inch. So 1 inch, 1.5, 1.5, add those up. VD is equal to 4 inches. So now that we have HD and VD, we can come back over here to our formula and plug those numbers in. All right, so HG, horizontal gap, is equal to border to border is 10 inches minus HD, we just figured out to be 5.5 divided by 2. And that's going to equal or break down to 4.5 divided by 2, which is going to break down to 2.25 as HG. We can do vertical gap. VG is equal to distance from border line to title block, top of, is going to be the same again. 6.5 minus 4 inches divided by 2. That simplifies down to 2.5 divided by 2, which breaks down to 1.25 is vertical gap. So that right there is going to be the 2 dimensions that we need in order to begin drawing the support. So we're going to begin drawing this and getting our views blocked in now. So I'm going to kind of set that out of the way. I'm going to grab our title block and border ready to go for the support. And we're going to lay out, just like we did the puzzle, the first line with our horizontal gap. And our horizontal gap was 2 1/4. So from the top and from the bottom, 2 1/4. And I'm going to draw this as a construction line, nice light line. Again, my lines are dark so you can see them on the video camera. You're going to be drawing yours much lighter. Now I do not want to come over here and draw 2 1/4 from this side right away, because it's not the gap I'm worried about, it's the views. So I'm going to continue horizontally with each of the different view lines now. So the front view is 3 inches, so there's 3, a 1 inch gap, and then right side view is 1.5 inches. Coming down to the bottom, 3, 1 inch gap, 1.5 inch for right side view. And I'm going to line those up. Your construction lines should be getting really good by now. You've had multiple drawings to practice light lines. Okay, our vertical gap is 1 1/4. So I'm going to come from top down, 1.25 on the left, 1.25 on the right, and draw my first construction line for that direction. That's the top of the puzzle, of the support drawing. So now we're going to come down from that, the 1.5 for the top view, 1 inch for the gap, 1.5 for the front view on both sides. 1.5, 1, 1.5. and I can draw those construction lines. And we have just identified that this box right here is going to be where the top view sits. This box is the front view. And this box is the right side view. None of the other lines matter anymore. So if I were to come down to my handout, here's the box representing the top view. Here's the box representing the front view. And here's the box representing the right side view. Now if I want, technically I can connect a 45-degree line from here, and I'll try to use this once. But we can also use our ruler to do most of our measurements for checking the top view and the right side view. Now that we have those views, we need to start putting the actual drawing inside of that. So I like to start with the front view, and we already know what it's supposed to look like when we're done. So it's going to look like that, and we have all of our different dimensions here. So I'm going to start by trying to get this angle line on there. So 0.375 up and 0.75 over. .375 up. .75 over. And I can connect that with a construction line. All right, I also know that there's going to be a vertical line here at 0.75, so I'm going to come over and draw two dots so I can get a line at 0.75. I'm actually going to run that line all the way up because I know I'll be using it in the other view as well. And I'm already starting to get some of this object to show up. All right, over here we got 0.375. Right there. And some of this is already starting to come into place. So if we now come in, we can start making some of these object lines if we wanted to. You can wait if you choose, but some of this we already know. Still one line we don't really have in here, and that's going to be wherever this angle piece is, and we know that that's a 1/4 inch. So we're going to come in here and draw a 1/4 inch on one side, 1/4 inch on the other. And I know that that line goes right there, and I'm going to draw that line over into the other view because I will use it later. So the front view is done. We're going to move into the top view next. I know there's a couple lines I can keep, and sometimes with these beginning multi-view drawings, it's easier just to darken in some of the stuff you know. I mean, obviously if you make a mistake with a dark line, it's a lot harder to erase it. So I'm not going to do a lot of lines up here, but I know that these lines are going to be full object lines. So I know I'm keeping that. All right, I know that the slot in there is halfway through, or 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to come to the left and the right side, draw a construction line here, and I'm going to extend this construction line all the way to my 45 over here for now. So right here is that cutaway of the view if you're looking at your handout. So it's going to kind of follow this up and down. So I'm going to go ahead and darken that in next. I got 2 more lines left in this view. That's going to be where this angle surface touches that angle surface. We're going to have a line. That line is right here. And where this angle surface touches that angle surface, there's going to be a break in those surfaces, which is going to be this line here. We know 0.375 is going to be the distance for that line here. And we know this one's at 0.75 to there. So I'm going to do the 0.75 one because that's easiest. We actually have part of it down in the front view already. So I just need 1 dot because I've already got the dot down below. And I can make that an object line right away. And then over in this view we got the one at 0.375. And I got to make 2 dots. And I can darken that in right away. And there is the top view. Left is going to be the right side view then to draw. I know these 2 lines are solid, so I'm going to go ahead and darken those in right away. That's about all that I know over there for sure right now. Okay, so I need to figure out where this angle is going to be up here. Well, I've already got the 1 start point for the angle, so I actually can darken that in right away up to where that angle is. And then I need the 2nd point for that angle, and I can either measure it or I can use my 45-degree transfer line, or I can do both. It'll actually be more accurate if you use both, but we know we have 0.375. So I'm going to come over here and draw my mark at 0.375, and if I line that dot up with where it hits the 45-degree intersection, right here, where this line came over and hit our 45, coming down should be exactly where it needs to be, and you can see that hits the 375 mark. So that right there is going to be my angle. So if I connect the dots, and then finish the outside edge of this view. Okay, I have some internal work to happen now. Wherever this point is needs to be transferred over into this view. So I'm going to measure how high it is in this view. Looks like it's 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to come over here, make a mark, and transfer that in. And then wherever our halfway point is, this 0.75 intersection, so I'm going to make another point at 0.75. I'm going to connect that new point and where it comes down up top. And that's going to show me some more information here. I also have to have this intersection coming over, which is 0.375. So I'm going to connect those 2 dots, and that one can automatically be an object line. Okay, so I'm coming back up to this construction line. I know that I'm going to keep half of it to right there. And then looking at the example of the handout, I know from there up is going to be an object line as well. Now there's one more line in that view we haven't drawn yet, and that's a hidden line. We talked about hidden lines with the alphabet of lines worksheet, that if you actually have something behind another object, it still exists, but you're going to draw it with a dashed line. I don't necessarily care how big the dashes and gaps are. These are pretty big on this one. I just want them to be consistent on your paper, and that hidden line is going to be coming down right there, showing us that there is a line behind that surface, and it continues down. So if we line up our ruler with an object line, or with the line that's there, and I'm going to use a normal weight, and I don't want it to start right on the gap there, so I'm going to make about 1/8 inch long lines with about a 1/16 inch gap. So as you can see, that is the finished product for the support drawing. It is centered on the page, so the distance, horizontal gap left and right is the same, and vertical gap up and down is the same. We have 1 inch between the views, and the views are perfectly in line with each other. This type of a drawing, not that you're writing this down, is an orthographic drawing. So with today's demonstration, we've gone through our second drawing of the class on paper and pencil for sketching, which is the support. We're going to be drawing the support again later as an isometric drawing, but today's drawing was our first multi-view drawing that we've completed. Our next drawing we're going to be getting into will be a similar idea where it's got the 3 main views, front, top, right side, and we're going to be doing the base plate. I will demonstrate this drawing. However, on the next one, I'm not necessarily going to go through the formula on centering it because we've done that twice. So you have previous examples to be able to do the math to center the base plate drawing on your own. Hopefully this video was helpful so that you can complete the support drawing. Thank you.